Hello to my water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Welcome to the Aquarius new moon. You'll find the timestamps for your rising signs listed below. Hello Cancer Rising, welcome to your reading for the Aquarius new moon, happening on Saturday, the 10th of February at 10 a.m. if you're in the Southern Hemisphere with me. So it's also the same day that the Chinese lunar calendar has us welcome in the year of the wood dragon. So there'll be lots of celebrations in the street, which will be really great energy to feed off and to enjoy, especially at a time such as this. This new moon is really packed with a lot of great potential. It's also kind of hectic in its lead up and in its aftermath as well. I'm going to explain it to you in the best way that hopefully is clear enough. I've written down all of these different transits, all of this activity, and I've kind of gotten myself a bit spun out. So hopefully it will be concise, and if anything doesn't make any sense, please write to me in the comments below, won't you? Okay. Let's focus first of all into the feeling of Aquarius. So Aquarius, the sign, is fixed air, which means the mind and means reliable intelligence. Aquarius is one of the smartest signs in the zodiac. That's an unfair thing to say. They understand the diversity of a brilliant mind, and they understand the diversity of brilliant minds. They can see and look out and witness different people's strengths and weaknesses, and understand that not everyone can be measured on the same stick of intelligence. That's how I'll put it. Having said that, they are so concerned about everyone else that sometimes they zoom out so far to get a huge vantage point of as much as they can see that they sort of get stuck in the rafters. And their definition of humanity, which is one of their favorite topics, doesn't sometimes include them because they're so busy concerned and studying it. In tarot, we look to the star that represents Aquarius. The star in Hermeticism was called the daughter of the firmament, which means the daughter of the sky. So beautiful. You can see that kind of feeling of Aquarius and in their nature of being sent here for some purpose. They're here on planet Earth to help all of us with our sense of humanity, with our sense of empathy. They're responsible for moving water, moving our emotions, helping folks develop literacy in terms of their emotions too. As much as Aquarius is an air sign, that fixed intelligence, that incredible advanced thinking, the focus is on water, the focus is on love, is on empathy, is on feelings. As they move the water, so do we. Healthy water moves, doesn't it? Healthy water needs activity. Cats won't drink from water that's not moving. They get very pissed off. If that water's stagnant, they won't have it. They know. So does Aquarius. Aquarius knows that we've got to keep the emotions flowing. As difficult as they might be, if there's movement, all the better. When things are stagnant or still, that's when Aquarius starts to worry. Now, as a Cancer, as a cardinal water sign, you can really respect that. You can really thank them for that. You can also identify with that, because we must remember we are every single sign in the zodiac. And we might have planets here and there as well that put emphasis or highlight on those attributes, but really there is a star existing in each and every one of us. There is that beautiful guiding light, that daughter of the sky. Come here to sort us all out. On your birth chart, Cancer Rising, Aquarius rules the 8th house, which is where our energy is committed in collaboration to that of the other. It's where we invest our resources and our time, where we are the recipient of other people's resources and time, and where we learn one of the hardest lessons in this life, and that is to say goodbye, to let go. The 8th house teaches us this. An Aquarian 8th house shows me that this is such a powerful facet of your intelligence. You love the way that you do in your Cancer rising self, and your mentality, your intellect, is unafraid to register and to realize that saying goodbye is a big part of that. It's beautiful. And right now, as we develop our definition of Aquarius, as we learn more about it, as we celebrate this new moon, which has us being able to plant the seeds. So let's skip to the 10th of February. Let's skip to this new moon in Aquarius and think about where you would like to collaborate or what you would like to eventuate from your collaborations. How are you investing your time and energy in the energy and time of others moving forward? And how are you consolidating your relationship with grief? How is that sitting for you? How are you able to aid and help those that are in need going through their grief? What have you learned? And what can you pass forward as well? Grief is profound, and some folks are terrified of it. And it takes different pinpoints in time, different relationships, different ceremonies of saying goodbye that will bring that up for people as well. Nothing stays. Everything goes. We all die. And that's a hard lesson for some. They can find it really difficult to look at. Perhaps not their own death, but losing those that they love. That's what we've got to work with. So, looking at the birth chart again, Cancer rising, and looking at Aquarius, and registering that Pluto, the planet of disintegration, the planet that levels the playing field, the keeper of the gate, the one that lords over everything that is hidden, precious metal, jewels, the spirits of the dead. Pluto, the lord of the underworld, is standing at the gate of Aquarius at 0 degrees. They're not letting anyone through without an audience with them. So, on the 5th of February of this year, something happened. There was information that speaks to these topics quite clearly for you. There was conversations around grief, conversations around the ceremony of saying goodbye, perhaps memories that were revealed to you in your unconscious. There's a different story that's being told here though, Cancer rising. It's one of power. Yeah. And so that happened on the 5th. On the 10th, we get to have the new moon. We get to sit with that lunation. We won't see the moon because it's dark, it's new. The moon and the sun are in the same place, invisible to our eye. We know that the moon is there. We get to work with the energy that's left here on planet Earth. We get to hope for our collaborations to mean something. We get to hope for the process of unpacking fear around grief to mean something together. Hope that sound is gone. After the new moon, on the 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day for some, Mars will be wanting to enter into Aquarius, but will have to pass by Pluto. And so Mars and Pluto in conjunction is bravery, massive bravery, bravery in the face of terror. After that conjunction, Venus will enter Aquarius on the 17th of February, passing by Pluto. Then on the 22nd of February, Mars and Venus, the lovers of the zodiac, the yin, the yang, breaking the binary as they come together in union. That's a powerful moment to be happening in your 8th house. That's a powerful moment to happen after they've both just been baptized by fire with Pluto. So there's something about the bravery and the beauty of grief that we're working with. here, Cancer Rising, and you're the person to do it. Because when it comes to your emotional investment, when it comes to your ability to feel emotions, process them, work through them, with them, and beyond, there's no one better. 1, you're unafraid to cry. 2, you're unafraid to love. 3, you're unafraid to feel it. 4, the moon is your guiding light. So this moment, this month, feels really, really powerful to me, Cancer Rising, and I'm so glad that you're guiding us through. I'm really glad that Aquarius sits in your 8th house, a house of such profound emotion. As much as it can be read in alternative definitions, of which you're more than welcome to look at, I can't help but think about this sort of, like, the 8th house to me feels like that gateway, Pluto's gateway. It really does. So I'm glad that it's on your birth chart in this configuration. I'm glad that at this moment we get to look to our Cancer Rising friends and we get to glean from their experience with grief as we confront our own. You've got a lot to share and a lot you know. So don't be stingy. Talk about it. I'm going to get you some tarot, I think, Cancer Rising. And then I'm finished. I did it. It was too hot yesterday. I tell you what, the weather's been so kind to me. It's been sort of drizzling and raining, which just gives me this cloak of protection sometimes. I think it was so hot and sunny yesterday, which I love. But when it's hot and sunny, I just want to lounge around like a lizard. I don't want to be trying to use my magical brain. But today I do. The Tower comes before the Star. The Star arrives because of the Tower. Something that was built on unstable foundations has been destroyed, been knocked down. Something that wasn't built to last has been knocked down. But having said that, what's built to last? To chill out lately, I've been watching all of this footage and information about ancient Japan and the old villages and how they're sort of going to ruin because the culture as it stands globally is much more sort of urban based. And to maintain a property in the wilderness of Japan is a lifelong commitment. And so the history seems to be sort of falling into ruin because no one has the time or resources to take care of it and to tend to it. There's a movement that's happening there in Japan of folks coming back to the garden, as it were, coming back to these spaces, and there's a lot of emphasis on foreign investment in order to maintain and to keep these emblems of history alive. I'm not sure if you know much about Japanese carpentry. It's stunning. It's so beautiful and built with such precision and skill. And there's a great movement over there at present, trying to maintain the historical artifact, trying to keep the spirits of these villages alive. So when I think about unstable foundations and I think about what the Tower means, destroying something that was unstable, I don't know so much. Sometimes things that are really stable fall into disrepair. And it's up to us to decide if we've got the energy enough to go back and tend to it or not. Destruction and then the Star. The Star might be the one with the ability to go back and tend to what was destroyed. But above all of this, Cancer Rising, is a little memento, a little meditation around what it is that we can take with us. It's not much physically. In fact, it's 0% physically, what we can take with us into the next life, the next incarnation, or into the dirt, into the soil. If you don't believe in any of the spiritual stuff, the energy of your body goes somewhere, goes back into the earth. And if that energy, if that body is full of love, then beautiful things can grow. And there's the love. It's the Ace of Cups. That was a lovely reading. Thank you, Cancer Rising. I loved that one. A lot of questions and nothing really needs to be answered. And yeah, that what's happening in Japan is so there's hope there. There's hope. There's an evolution of the culture. You know, never was there more foreign investment. But it's to maintain something ancient, it's to maintain a culture. Hopefully that can work as an emblem for other cultures around the world that are dealing with the loss of history, because there's no one available or resourced enough to maintain the properties that once existed. There's something about, rather than building new, tend to the old, which might have nothing to do with your experience, but it's just that sentiment, this feeling of eighth house stuff, you know, the changeover, the handover, knowing that we can take nothing physically with us in this life, but what's left behind holds treasure. So let's be grateful for what we have, and let's tend to what's already here. Thanks. Got it in the end. If you're still here with me, Cancer Rising, put a star in the comments, please. That would be wicked. I'd love that. If you want to support my horoscope work, you can head to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and subscribe for 10 Australian dollars a month. You can also throw some money in the tip jar over there. If you'd like me to draw your birth chart and read it to you, you can make an appointment with me at umaruby.com. Book a spirit reading if it's a first-time affair. If you'd like another reading with me, if I've read for you before, head to the Back for More tab and you can choose a love, growth, truth, magic, or femme reading. I look forward to it, Cancer Rising. So much love to you. Good luck with the new moon. Good luck with this procession, this gatekeeping sort of initiation. Let's see what happens, but it's all great preparation for what's ahead. Much love. Hello, Scorpio Rising. Welcome to your reading for the Aquarius new moon happening on Saturday, the 10th of February at 10 a.m. if you're in the Southern Hemisphere with me, on the same day that the Chinese lunar calendar tells us it is the year of the wood dragon. So welcome to this new, hopeful night of great potential. We're going to be speaking a lot about Aquarius, and there's so many facets to this horoscope, and I've tried to condense it into 15 minutes. I probably should have saved it for this one and the next one, but February seems like there's some huge transitions that are occurring in and around the sign of Aquarius. So as a group, we know that Aquarius represents our humanitarian spirit. It represents our ability to revolutionize systems and to problem solve and to innovate. In tarot, it's the star that is representative of Aquarius. The star is someone who is possibly sent from another dimension, somewhere else, down to planet Earth to help us heal, to help us move our emotional ecosystems, to salve some of the ever-present wounds that occur in the human psyche. The star is naked and unafraid and free to be themselves, and has the nous, has the ability to figure this out. That's why when we think about our Aquarian friends, we can often see a great mind at work, can't we? We can see someone who's really thoughtful, really thinking about the betterment of everyone else around them, really kind of working in that world, trying to solve the problems, trying to revolutionize. Sometimes poor Aquarius can get so consumed with the worries and feelings of other folks that they sort of get stuck out in the rafters, and they forget to include themselves into the human experience. And that's why the star is this beautiful naked human body. They're sort of showing everyone that they can be free, that they are here and natural and beautiful and quite similar to everybody else around them. They're included in this. Scorpio Rising. Now, as a group, we're feeling the effects of Pluto in Aquarius together. It's showing up in some quite obvious, some maybe more subtle ways across the global stage. But if Pluto represents a power surge, if Pluto represents a destruction in order to rebuild, and Aquarius represents the humanitarian spirit, we can hope that moving forward, we will eventually come to feel incredibly lucky that we got to witness Pluto in Aquarius this time around. Not everyone gets to experience Pluto in Aquarius. Many generations before us didn't. Many generations after us won't. It feels pivotal, and it feels like, in some ways, folks are ready for that too. Things like equity, things like fairness, things like a sense of humanity is at the forefront of a lot of people's minds right now. And there are people really speaking their mind and really, hopefully, banding together to solve some of the harsher truths of what it is to be human. Somewhere in there you can include yourself in that too, Scorpio Rising. I'm sure that you're a part of that as well. When I look at your birth chart, Aquarius rules your 4th house, which is your home, your base of the chart, where you should feel that you have entitlement and access to privacy, where you should feel that you have entitlement and access to safety. We understand that not everyone does, and that everyone has a very different relationship with their 4th house. Some folks can be feeling that it's quite unstable. At a new moon, it's a seed. It's a moment of contemplation under the dark veil of the sky to plant something. So when you think about your home, your roots, your privacy, access to it, access to safety, I'd like for you to make some potent wishes here for yourself, Scorpio Rising. It's becoming more and more difficult as time passes on to earn a living and to cover the bottom line. I really respect that to be true, and I understand if things have been difficult for you. At a new moon, we get to imagine what we hope for. Now, with Pluto's presence in Aquarius, it tells a story to me. It tells a story of some really potent things about your sense of home life, perhaps your ancestry, perhaps your family relationships. It tells a story of beautiful revelation. Pluto encourages things that were hidden for a long time to be brought to the surface. And as it stands, Pluto is kind of holding guard at the precipice of Capricorn and of Aquarius. Every planet that wishes to pass has to go past Pluto. And so Mercury will do so on the 5th of February, hopefully by the time I've got these out. And then Mars will do so on Valentine's Day on the 14th of February, and then Venus on the 17th. So you can almost feel that sort of wave of like change that's in the air, almost as if each of the planets moving past Pluto have to reconfigure themselves in some way, have to go through some sort of metamorphosis. And to have all of this freshness, which includes bravery, which includes pleasure, and which includes conversation, in and around your 4th house of where you came from and what you're building for yourself. This looks to me to be really healing. It looks really beneficial. Some of the hardest conversations that we need to have in this life we put off, we put off, we put off. It reaches a point maybe that we get so far away from the moment that activation would have been granted that it feels strange to sort of dredge things up from before. Like, why are you bringing that up now? Why are you talking about this now? I thought that was the past. This is the future. It'll be up to you to register what bygones can be bygones, what can be left in the past, and what might need some encouragement to talk about now. I think Mercury and Pluto in that conjunction on the 5th, so in the lead up to this new moon, might be an instigator, or there might be a catalyst there for you to start thinking about this stuff. By the time that the new moon happens and you've had your moment to seed these potentials, you can see that then Mars will activate some of these potentials, and hopefully Venus will bring some sweetness too. But things feel like they won't be the same, and that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes change can be really, really valuable. Change, as far as I know it, is never, ever easy. But it's how we sort of take that offer and how we kind of see through the fear or see through the blockages that really makes the difference. I'm really proud of you, Scorpio Rising. It's been such an intense ride since we've been chatting, and we've really been hitting our stride and making such revelation in our lives, haven't we? We've really been sort of looking at our truer selves and rising up and having the courage to talk about some of these darker depths. I think that you would probably be really led quite beautifully by Pluto. Pluto is one of the planets that speaks to Scorpio in great support. And Pluto and Mars, both, as a matter of fact, are great guiding lights for you. So if, as I've been talking, you're sort of like, oh, I don't know if I can go there, like that's not something that needs to be discussed. You might not even have to lead that charge, although Mars might say that you do. But whatever happens, honey, Mars and Pluto are part of your soul's makeup. When I think about Scorpio, I think about that sort of carapace of ice, that frozen water, protecting the depths of the emotion below. And I think about what bravery it takes to sort of smash through that ice. And I think about Pluto's willingness to dredge things up from beneath the surface. So maybe you can go with that kind of language too. Fourth house stuff, ancestral stuff, home stuff can feel really hard. Also, if it's questions around your lineage too, you know, maybe it's not so much your immediate family, it could be from generations before. That could be things that are being urged to be rediscovered or re-examined. Whatever it is, Scorpio Rising, trust that your bravery, your protector, Mars, is encouraging this revelation. Yeah. Let me know how you go. I'm going to get you some tarot to see how we can round this one out. I know that was a really long list of dates as well, Scorpio Rising. I apologize. There's heaps of information there. I wanted to maybe split it and then do some more for the full moon, but it just seemed pertinent to sort of talk about this almost like a domino sort of effect, like it's a whole full juicy week after the new moon in Aquarius. You know, it's like let's get to work. Let's talk about this. Let's solve some of this too. Let's put some of this to bed as well. Not every conversation and confrontation, often the best confrontations don't end at the confrontation. There's more to excavate. There's more to heal from, and maybe some of this, Venus finishing off the procession. That's the opportunity to heal too. Okay. Yeah. Let's tease this out. I got 5 cards, Scorpio, and I know what they mean. It's tempting to do nothing, isn't it? It's tempting to just sort of like numb it out. You know, it's tempting to sort of sit with a feeling and to just not act or become sort of distracted by possibility so much to a point that nothing occurs, that nothing is sort of materialized from the thought. You can just think about it and, yeah, maybe bury it, maybe mask it, maybe have a couple of drinks or a couple of smokes or whatever and just sort of not look at that. We'll look at that later. But what I feel right here is this sort of activation of Pluto being this like gatekeeper, like nothing's to pass into Aquarius unless it's through Pluto. And in tarot, we can look to the magician as a signifier of Mercury, to that messenger, that sort of one that can go either way. Some of these conversations that begin might be really difficult at first, but stick with us, the story gets better, because then we sort of enter into Taurus territory and understand that sort of worry about being left out, being rejected. I understand that exhaustion about reciprocity not being invested back to you. I understand giving and giving and giving and not receiving anything in return. I also understand the guilt that one can feel when you feel like you're taking too much and that you don't have the energy or don't have the resources to give back. So that sort of limits your potential or opportunity to ask for anything in the first place. There's so much of our story that we've invented. And there's so much of the story that can be solved through conversation. And that's what Mercury, as tricky as they're being right now, is really encouraging when it comes to where you came from, when it comes to the infrastructure of your home and your relationships and how they play out, how they're structured off the back of your experience with your home life, or perhaps they're involved, perhaps your home and your relationships are really interwoven at the moment. Perhaps you're very invested in your family relationships, and that's why it's even more difficult to bring some of this stuff up, because we'll just not worry about it, we'll just get distracted by this. At the base of all of this, Scorpio rising, I really feel there's such a strong sense that you're going to be met, that your emotional investment or your emotional vulnerability is going to be received in a way that is really amiable and really kind. So as hard as it might be to talk about some of this stuff, don't worry, Mercury's going to force you into it. But Mars is going to make you brave enough to face it too. And what you're fearing, which that could be dejection, rejection, being cut off, I don't suspect that that's going to happen. In fact, I suspect you're going to be surprised by what you're met with, which is understanding, kindness, and warmth. Your vulnerability is going to be witnessed, and it's going to be respected too. That's your reading, babe. If you're still here with me, can you put a star in the comments, please, in honor of Aquarius? Put a great big bright star. I'll remind you that you can subscribe to my work here in Horoscope Land at buymeacoffee.com/UmaRuby. You can subscribe for $10 a month. If you've been enjoying my work over the last bit of time and want to support and you're able to, that's where you can do it. There's also a tip jar over there. If you'd like me to draw your birth chart and read it to you, you can make an appointment with me at umaruby.com. If you're a first timer, pick the spirit reading. If I've read for you before and you'd like something else, you can head to the Back for More tab and book a truth, magic, growth, love, or femme reading. Whichever of those titles twigs your interest, let me know. Let's make an appointment. Much love to you, Scorpio Rising. Do take care. I know that was a lot. Any questions, throw them in the comments. I always try and answer everyone. And yeah, let's prepare ourselves for the fruits of our labor. Let's prepare ourselves for the benefit of being brave. Good luck. I've got your back. Well done. Hello Pisces Rising, welcome to your reading for the Aquarius new moon happening on Saturday, the 10th of February at 10 a.m. if you're in the Southern Hemisphere with me. So it's the same day that the Chinese Lunar New Year takes place, and we'll be entering into the year of the Wood Dragon, which is very exciting. There'll be lots of celebrations in the street happening around that time, I'm sure. This feels really pivotal. It really does, Pisces Rising. I've been looking and studying, and I've written down so many different transits that are happening in February, and I hope that I've not overfilled the plate. But there's a lot for us to talk about, and there's a lot to hope for. There's also what feels like something of an initiation that's occurring at this time. So we know that Pluto is in Aquarius. They arrived on the 21st of January. We know that they'll dip out in September, back into Capricorn at the end, but then they'll move back into Aquarius from the 20th of November of this year, and there they will remain. And there they will make their very slow journey through Aquarius for the next 20 or so years. This is all taking place on your birth chart in the 12th house, the house of our unconscious reality, our inner knowing, our hidden private work. The 12th house is so full of ripe potential for magic, but it also isn't the easiest of roads. What I'd like to sort of prepare us for is the hope that we can glean from knowing this, and also some of the kind of like cool magic shit that can happen there too. So this month, on the 10th of February, there's the new moon in Aquarius. So we get to go inward. We get to really imagine as much as we can what our dreams might mean and how we can work with that information. I don't know about you, I've been having so many really vivid dreams lately, and I've tested myself too. There's been moments where I've opened my eyes and it's still there, and I'm working out what that means. There was one in particular that was really striking to me. I was just on the precipice of sleep and I was just drifting off, and I could sense the body relaxing. My eyes were closing, and then all of a sudden I was whooshed out of the room. It felt like I was going down a water slide. I was sort of like left my bed and was like traveling backwards and was like, whoa, whoa. And I got pretty scared. And so I woke myself up and I opened my eyes, and above me was this branch with all of these little discs, little black discs on this tree-like structure. Kind of, maybe it looked kind of like this, I suppose. But it was black and it was moving. And I lay there for ages and I was like, okay, so you're still dreaming. And I was like, no, you're absolutely not dreaming. You're wide awake. You're in the room. What is that? And it took a while for it to sort of evaporate, but then it did. I've got no idea what that means. I remember the feeling in my body, which was sort of terror of going down the water slide, and then relief at seeing the tree above me. But I still don't quite know what it means. I'll stop you there because I know there's nothing more annoying than someone telling you about their dream. Well, it sort of depends on who you are. I love to hear about people's dreams, but not everyone does. This is 12th house stuff. This is the place that in ancient times would possibly have folks incarcerated. It's got a bad rap, the 12th house. The Hellenistic definition is the house of bad spirit. There was a lot of connotations towards hospitalization and incarceration in history because of people's bad relationship with their 12th house, or society's bad relationship with people and their 12th house. But we are grown-ups, and we know that we've got magic running through our fingers, and we know that we've got access to different portals here and there. And we know that our dreams can mean whatever they want, whatever we want them to mean. And we've got our lives to figure out why. I don't know if you're the kind of person that's had dreams that have just stayed with you your whole life. I definitely have. I won't bore you with the details now, but this is 12th house work. Pluto is the harbinger of destruction, of disintegration. Pluto will destroy everything in its pathway to clear the way for new growth to emerge in its wake. Pluto lords over everything that is hidden, all of the precious metals and jewels, the spirits of the dead that are buried in the earth. That's Pluto's domain. A Pluto transit is ever powerful, and as a culture we know that we are maybe the lucky ones to witness Pluto in Aquarius. The jury's still out, but the future is ours to create too, isn't it? There's a lot of astrological language around technology because Aquarius is so inclined to innovation in that space, the space of technological advancement and industry. You know, the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, there was a wellspring of new activity in those areas that changed the way that humans relate and thrive and grow. We're talking a lot about AI at present, and a lot of folks are sort of looking to what Pluto in Aquarius might bring about in the realm of artificial intelligence. There's a lot of dystopian futures that are being predicted around artificial intelligence, and it's here that we get to remember our human spacesuit, our organism, and we get to take a little bit of the control back. Automation in the workplace will have folks lose their jobs. It's society's responsibility to make sure that there's provisions made for those people that are out of work. This is where the society truly shifts and changes. You can't innovate and then leave folks for dead. That's not going to be something that we will stand for. I'm looking at the star as I speak to you about this, Pisces, because the star is the emblem of Aquarius, the daughter of the firmament, as the Hermetics used to say. That means the daughter of the sky. This is someone who's been sent here, perhaps from a different realm, to sort out humanity's crisis. The star knows how to move the water of life and love for thirsty humanity. And it's at this time in our history that those topics are at the forefront of our minds, aren't they? We're all thinking about our sense of humanity, a growing dread about the future. However, the star isn't interested in dread. The star comes after the tower. It's number 16, number 17. So the star has been there, done that. The star is here to sort us out. So how can we, in our 12th house, what are our dreams telling us that can aid our effectiveness in resolving the crisis of humanity that we seem to be engulfed in at present? What can we put our time and energy and efforts towards that are going to aid a sense of healing and a sense of opportunity? The idea of humans of a working class being rendered irrelevant or ineffective has to stop. I was reading articles the other day about slave labour in fast fashion and its ever-present nature, and the idea of big brands opting out of some of these factories, just leaving these people to waste, having no other option for work, but being all of their efforts towards unionisation being quashed by their employers or being sacked for engaging in union action. This is ever present still in our culture. Aquarius and Pluto in Aquarius could be power to the people. So how do we make that work for us? How does that really look? Perhaps to delve into the 12th house a little bit deeper, there might be some deeper sort of healing work that you can do on your own self as far as your confidence or as far as your fear around speaking out. I've got a lot of fear around speaking out. There's been so much that I've been learning about myself in so far as being terrified of conflict. And that comes from my lived experience in this life and from other places too. My dreams help me with that. My dreams help me to grow strong. Resistance is imminent. But we're going to work together, and we're going to stand tall and brave and powerful as a collective. That's what the star really wants. February's chockers. The new moon is on the 10th. Mercury feels pivotal to this story, Pisces. So if Pluto's at 0 degrees of Aquarius, acting as like a gatekeeper, as Mercury, Venus, and Mars are all wanting to move through into Aquarius. They're all in Capricorn right now, but they're on the move into Aquarius. And so they have to pass by Pluto in order to get there. The three personal planets, one that brings information, one that brings bravery, and one that brings beauty, are all having to pass by Pluto. The way that we relate to our unconscious mind, Pisces rising, is in for a shift, in for a change. And hopefully with encouragement from folks that you trust, and hopefully with deep work with people that you trust and people that are trained, some of this paranoia is the wrong word, but it's something like that. This fear that I can feel. I'm going to move that, going to shift that. The future is written by us. So if we can feel the feeling, register it, and do it anyway, then we're going to be okay. I read something beautiful about diligence. I can't remember where I read it. Oh, forgive me. It was something about diligence makes the talented brilliant. Diligence makes the less talented better. It's a paraphrase, but it simply means that with practice and with commitment and with showing up even when it feels really terrifying to do so, you get better at what you want to do. You get better at facing what you need to face. 12th house work is huge, and it's been, on the road for some time. If you've got planets in Aquarius, that's another story that we can have too. But it doesn't matter if you don't. This is powerful. This is a powerful period. There's a lot in your magical practices, Pisces rising, that you can really harness here, and you can really bring to greater effect moving forward. I'm going to get you some tarot, and we'll see what else comes out. But you can sort of I can feel that it feels like a test here, and it feels like a rhythm, that we've got the strength enough to work with. Okay, I got Gemini right in the center, or I got the Lovers. I got the Lovers, which is the Gemini card. It speaks to Gemini. Keep your home, keep your environment cleansed. Keep it really healthy and clean and full of growth, because the way that you live is a reflection on your soul work. I understand that it's difficult sometimes to sort of get everything in order and keep it so, but even if just a simple act of sweeping the space, preparing and cleansing it, being kind to yourself by being kind to your surroundings, keeping it in good order will keep your spirit in good order. I say all of this because at this new moon, Vesta, the goddess of the sacred flame, is in support of this moon in your 12th house of your unconscious work. It feels like we're sort of can clean and sweep and prepare for some deep, deep healing over the coming decades. This month, February, feels like a catalyst for a lot of that change. Some of it might be spooky. What I'm feeling, Pisces, is that we need to enact the ritual of our life with intent. That will be one of the things that can really hold us through whatever changes occur, whatever reinvention of society's structures that we are witness to. In your small life, which isn't to say that it's any less important than anybody else's, but the simplicity of the way that you live will hold the key to your happiness. I think this is where I'm going with this. The act of waking up, eating breakfast, saying thank you to the day. Because these small wins that have occurred right now, there's something that I feel you're being your intelligence is being reinvigorated. We're intelligent in different ways, every single one of us. Aquarius knows that. Aquarius is not to judge the efficacy of the mind. They're not to say, I'm more intelligent than you. They register that everyone's got different skills. But something's happened. There's been a small win here. There's been a moment of clarity where you've been like, right, okay, I'm not to blame, or I was right. I was right in this action or decision or hunch. And so we've got to keep that moving because I want self-sufficiency for you. I really want it, really sincerely. And with this emphasis on the 12th house, you can see the physical space being an emblem of the your lived reality and its relationship to your unconscious reality too. By sweeping the space, by cleansing it, clearing it out, living in a way that honors you and honors your health and your environment, you also can cleanse the spirit too. You can sweep out with those actions of the broom, sweep out what you don't need, sweep out the past. There's so much of the past is attached to the 12th house. It's our pre-life life, the house that is emblematic of our existence before birth, because it was rising before we took our first breath. There's a cumulative feeling that can happen in there too, isn't there? Things that were tests that were left unmet, or lessons that were left unlearned. So keep your physical environment beautiful and in a space where you feel you're respecting yourself as we prepare to engage in this really, really important, deep work. I like February, Pisces Rising. I like 2024. As difficult as a lot of it might appear, there's a purpose for us being awake to Pluto in Aquarius right now, and we'll figure that out together. If you're still here with me, Pisces Rising, can you put a star in the comments, please? That would be lovely. I can read your birth chart over at umaruby.com, so if I've not met you before, I'll draw you one up and they look like that. And we can talk all about what makes you, you with your astrology. If I have read for you before, you can head to the Back for More tab and you can choose a love, a truth, a growth, a magic, or a femme reading. And I'd be glad to walk you through the transits as they relate specifically to your birth chart and talk to tarot. If you'd like to support my work, head to buymeacoffee.com and you could subscribe for 10 Australian dollars over there. Much love to you, Pisces Rising. I hope that was useful, and I'll speak to you soon, and we'll speak about the Virgo full moon, which will be lighting up your house of connection and love and romance. So I look forward to that. Take care.